Hey PC, it's Buck at BFK and Medusa. You can find me around the PC. I'm on the forums, I'm on PKC, I'm on DG, I'm on the Discord, all over the place. If you have any questions, if you like this video and you want to learn more, feel free to contact me. I'm very friendly and very open to helping people. So if you have a toy that you're not sure what's going on with it, or you just kind of don't know where to start, or you have questions, definitely look me up. I do not mind helping at all. So. Today I'm going to show you how to hex on I'm just going to use the black sweater, I think, as my base. We're going to start looking at flat clothing and delving into the basics and figuring out how to change simple things and what you can do with just the basic knowledge of flat clothing. So I'm going to go into Pets 4. Of course, you can do this on Pets 5 too. It pretty much works the exact same way. Sorry, not dogs. I want clothes. Let's do the black sweater. So this is just the original black sweater from the game. Just kind of want to take a look and make sure that it's not been edited. Sorry. Yeah, that looks like the original stuff. Okay. So right away, as usual, I'm going to change this to my name of the clothing that I want, and I'm going to change this. I don't really know what's not been used in my closet, so hopefully that one hasn't been used. Basically, you change the breed ID to make sure that you don't have any sprite clashes, and then there's a couple of other steps that you take to change your sprites so that they don't clash with other clothes in your closet as well. So what we're going to do now is change this. As long as you have the exact same number of characters, you should be fine. So you can change this to all A's. You can do whatever you want. My method is to change this to that breed ID number that I just picked. And that's just so that I know every single sprite that I do is going to be different from others. So this one, make sure the underscore away stays. Don't delete that. But everything else, everywhere you see the cloth underscore sweater black, make sure you change it to the new sprite name. Again, be event underscore, leave that, and the sounds underscore, leave that. Just change the cloth underscore sweater black. Change that, and this here, leave the sprite underscore clot underscore. Oops. Should take my own advice. And then change this. You don't have to. I mean, it works if you don't do this, but I like to do this. I think I named it test sweater. Yeah, up there it says test sweater. So save it. So we're done in here for now. A couple of things in LNZPro. We'll go over this. So flat clothing is up here. If you have a clothing item, like let's say the nose, it'll say add clothing, and that's something a little bit different. So today we'll look at the flat clothing. We'll look at the add clothing another day. Let's just go through what the information is in here. Anything that you see that's kind of in brackets, it's either just kind of information telling you what it is, the black sweater, or it's information on the other, like the internal coding of the game, let's say. So for this here, this is something that the game picks up on because it's black text. It's the kind. So for your flat clothing, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's a hat too. That's interesting. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And a nose thing too. What? That's new. Okay, so you have 14 different kinds of clothing items. In theory, that means that you can put 14 different things on your pet at one time. So if you want to create, let's say like a costume like I created with my ghost costume or whatever, you can change this to be, you know, like a sock. And then you can put other things over top of the ghost costume. So it's very interesting to move these things around. Earring L and earring R, I think that's probably from babies. I don't know if that would work in pets, but anyways, we can always play with that in the future and find out. So this is your texture list. It's basically the same if you're familiar with dogs textures. So this suggests that the textures is starting. This suggests that the textures is ending, so you can add anything you want in here. Resource. dogs, let's say, slash whatever.bmp. You can add whatever you want, or another art slash textures. So we can play around with that too. So for now, let's just leave the texture. We can change that later. I'll just show you how to do a basic recolor. So these are all the ball numbers like normal. If you go into your pet editing manual and check out your ball numbers, we'll look at 18. Let's make this bigger. So shoulder, 50 is chest, 48 belly, 7 is the elbow, 31 and 23 the wrist. So this goes down to the wrist. I don't think it goes all the way down to the hand. Yeah, it should be a full sweater. Anyways, so that's what that is. Those are the ball numbers. Color, fuzz, outline type, size difference, group. Don't really know exactly what that is, but we can figure that out in the future. And then your texture list. So in theory, you can add different balls in here, like add another line with a ball and all this information, and that can add to your costume. I found for the shirt type, like the shirt kind particularly, if you add on, sometimes that can interfere with other balls, which is interesting. So my modeled sweater, for example, if you put it on some cats, the texture will cover one of the jowls. So yeah, just be careful if you're adding on balls. It's best to pick a base that has all the balls that you want to work with. So if you want a sweater like that goes all the way down to the hand and the hands and the feet, then the best one to use is probably the Argyle sweater. So let's just pick a random color. I always look at this so that I can see what color I want to pick. Let's do 223. That's a great color. It's not textured, so we'll have to change this, but all you have to do is change all these to the texture, to the color that you want, sorry. And it's that simple. So this is ball info that you can see here. This refers to this section, so end of ball info. And then this is information for paintballs. So if you want, you can add something onto the chest ball, let's say. I think that's the chest ball. Chest ball. Color, let's say, is 10. Outline. Fuzz. Outline type. Size difference. And texture 0. Let's see what happens with that. Oh, sorry, thinking out loud here. So this diam percentage, I think this is our XYZ coordinates. That makes sense. So this isn't right, what I've shown you here. Maybe I can do paintballs in another video. Anyways, if you want to add paintballs, these are the parameters that you use here. Just like these are the parameters for this section that you want to use. So we'll explore paintballs a bit later, because usually what I do is I go into Pets Workshop and do some paintballs on whatever balls I want, and then copy and paste that information in here. So that's one way to do that. We're going to save this. If you really wanted to, you can change the sounds. If you just leave it as none, it has the normal clothing sounds. It kind of like makes ruffling noises, if you will. This, I like to change. This is your on-screen tip. You don't have to change it. Not everybody looks at their on-screen tips, but I just think it's kind of cute to include it. Save it, and we can exit that. Next, we want to go into our hex editor. I have H times D, and we're going to open up our test sweater. What we're doing is finding the sprite name and changing it in here as well, because even though we changed everything in lines, it doesn't grab everything from the coding in the game. So I hope I still have this copied. Nope. Didn't like that. Okay, so it was clothes underscore 1600, 16,000. And then there's another one here, 16,000. Save it. Sometimes you just have to make sure that you look through this really carefully. Sometimes there's more than just 2 occurrences of that. So just make sure you change them all. So we're done in the HXD. Now we can open it in Tinker. Oh, these are toys. Clothes. And we have 2 sprites that we need to change. So if you've done it correctly, it should show up with what you've changed the sprite name to. Otherwise, it'll say clothes underscore sweater black still. So I usually open up both right away so I don't forget to do one of them. Make sure you're leaving all the same number of frames when we're editing toys and clothes. We basically want to leave everything the exact same, other than the minimal information that we need to change to make it work. So what I mean with that is if you delete frames, then all of a sudden it's going to give you corruptions and that kind of thing because the byte sizes are different and the file size ends up being different. So we're editing, but very minimally. I'm just going to use these images because they were convenient for me. I didn't actually make new images to put in the toy closet. So this just lets us know which toy we've created. So save that. Grabbed. We're going to import this. And we'll just copy and paste this. So if you want, like realistically, you can edit, you can use all of these, export all of these images and save them to your desktop and edit the image. I'm not going to spend that much time doing all that. There's 11 different images here. So normally I just leave that because I like the little animation of it falling. And then it just changes to the black sweater. But if you don't like that, if you want it to stay this image, you can just paste it over that and the resting too, but it's going to look like that when you set it down. So you decide what you want to do. There's lots that you can play around with animations. So even though this is the sprite that we're using for our shirt, it's not going to look like that. That's just the image for the toy closet, and when you pick it up in the game, it's going to look like what we've made it in lines. So I'll show you what I mean. We'll open up the game and it should be right here. This is the one that we've made. So when you pick it up, that's what it looks like. When you set it down, that's what it looks like. Whoops. And it should work on dogs and cats. Let's put it on Candy Toes. He's wearing a little elephant sock. We'll take that off. So we put it on and voila. We've got the beautiful 223 shirt. So this is picking up the outline from Candy Toes, this white here. That's not actually part of the sweater. If we wanted to, we could change the outline color to make that different, I'm pretty sure. But right now it's picking up from the actual balls of the cat, the outline color, because it's set to -1. So we could change that to 223, but I'm not going to do that. So what I am going to do is show you how to use a texture, just in case you're not really wanting to use the colors. So let's play around with that. We'll open our test sweater again. And I'm going to change this to a color that is texturable. So we'll change it back to 35 and be boring. That's fine. So there's some colors on the texture chart, on the color chart that are untexturable, and even if we change our textures, it won't show up based on the color that we're changing it to. So let's just change this to an external texture. So in my resource dogs folder, I'm pretty sure there is a texture called blue tick. And I'm pretty sure it has to be set at 0 for the transparency. So let's see what that did. Yeah, perfect. So it's as simple as that. If you know you have a texture in your dogs folder, blue tick, that's the one I chose, just change that to resource/dogs/ whatever the file name is. I'll do it with, let's pick Sea Smoke Blue 4. Sea Smoke Blue 4. And that's as simple as that is. So whatever you want to change it to, just do it like that. But if you don't want to do it that way, if you want to do it internally, because if you do it externally, every person has to go and find Sea Smoke Blue 4 and put it in their resource dogs folder. It's a lot of work to me, so I like to do my textures internally, which would be the art/texture. Let's leave it at that one. And then all you have to do is add resource. So I right-clicked over here and I want to add resource, browse. So I'm going to go to my dogs folder and find that Sea Smoke Blue. There. And create it. And it's as simple as that. Now under BMP, boom, there's my texture. So every person who now downloads this file will not have to download the texture because it's internal. So if I take this out of my dogs resource/dogs folder and put it on my cat now, it's still gonna work. Voila! You've created the texture internally, which is awesome. So you can also create your own textures, which is probably better because some people may not like when you use their textures internally. I personally don't mind. I've gotten permission from a bunch of people on the PC, which is awesome. Thank you very much, everyone who's let me use their textures. But yeah, it's probably better if you create your own textures, which is fairly simple. You can basically just kind of make whatever image you want and then make sure to go into OrphanView and reduce your colors to 8-bit. And I can make a tutorial on that too. It's fairly simple. There's also, I think, babies.org is the website, maybe, potentially, possibly. They have a very simple little tutorial of how to make textures too. It's really not that scary. The only big thing is because dogs and cats the games don't really have a whole lot of colors. Sometimes colors change and they look really horrible in games, so there is a bit of experimenting with it, but generally it's pretty good. I've actually had a lot of success. I can show you guys, maybe, if I can find it, my texture list. No, those aren't all the ones that I've made. Yeah, shiny textures. So all of these textures are the ones, well, some of them are, yeah, most of them, well, there's a mix. Most of these I've created. This one's from Cat Creature. These ones are from Flummery, I want to say. But yeah, these are all of my textures that I've used internally. These I think Kitsune made. So yeah, like they show up fairly decently in game. These ones look really good, I think, in my opinion. And they hold true to their colors pretty well. So textures are pretty awesome in game. They're a great little thing to make and to experiment with. So that's pretty much it. That's the basics for making flat clothing. You can play around with it. Like I said, you can change this if you want something, you know, you have like a collar that you don't want to block other neck things or to block shirts. You can change it to a nose thing because not a lot of things are based off the nose thing. And that way you can wear it with a lot of different clothing items. So there's a lot to play around with. You can add other sections too, I think. So yeah, basically look at other bases, like other PFM shirts and whatever else, and just kind of look in that information and see the different possibilities that you can make. And again, if you have any questions, if there's something that you're not sure if it's possible to make, you can always talk to me and I will give you my best advice, or we can struggle through it together. I'm kind of learning still too. I'm kind of experimenting and piecing together how to do everything. It's sort of like I feel like I sort of know what I'm doing, but I'm sort of not knowing what I'm doing all the time either. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you learned something new. And again, if you have questions, either comment on the video or find me in the PC. Thanks for watching.